What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Absolutely April, and I'm here for another reality recap. If you're here, I do reality recap on Married at First Sight, Married to Medicine, Ready to Love, and I'm going to sprinkle in a few more things, so stay tuned. So if you're here, like, comment, share, subscribe. It's great here. Join my tribe. Comment down below. Interact with me because I like to get your feedback. I get positive and I'm getting a little negative feedback. So I'm still working, I'm working through the kinks. This is, I'm starting out. I've only been doing this for a little bit, but bear with your girl. So again, we're here to do a Married at First Sight recap. And I'm going to share some of my opinions. So let's get into it. So this is episode 9 and it's day 20 of marriage. So they've been at it for quite some time now. So Morgan and Ben, I'm showing that they're working out together. They look like they're on a good page. Ben has a little like dried up toothpaste around his mouth. So it seems like it's an early day for them. They're getting a workout in. You also see Kristen and Mitch. They're walking her dog Luna. Stacia is giving Nate a striped shirt, which will is kind of foreshadowing what's to come in the in the episode with this striped shirt. So also Alexis and Justin are doing facials on themselves. Everything is cute. So Morgan and Ben, they go to a mermaid class. Ben is saying he's doing this because he wants to show Morgan that he's putting forth his best efforts with Morgan. He wants to show that he'll do anything for her and just kind of show up for her because he is in the doghouse. So he just wants to make her happy at this point. And I think that Morgan is noticing his efforts and making a little leeway. He's I don't know how far he's getting, but he's making a little leeway with Morgan. So it goes to Mitch and Kristen. There, Mitch is making Kristen some food, and while Mitch is making Kristen a meal, Luna is humping her little mat, her little doggy bed. So that was a cute little thing. So Kristen gets into talking about, some things that she wants to do in the future. And she's telling Mitch that she wants to eventually be an entrepreneur and start flipping houses. So yeah, I think she's like a lot of people, they don't want to stay in corporate America. They want to have their own. But as she's sharing her dreams of flipping houses and getting into more real estate, Mitch is kind of like not really showing any interest in it, basically. I guess because it doesn't have anything to do with environment and being sustainable. So, Mitch, he makes a little comment, he doesn't see how, he sees where it could be like being capitalistic, and just people coming in and taking over and not and moving people who need houses out, and and not building more affordable houses for those who are in need. So Mitch has a philosophical difference about flipping homes. So Kristen is kind of not feeling his feedback because she supports Mitch on all of his endeavors, and it doesn't appear that Mitch is doing the same for her. So the couples receive packages, and this package is to encourage them to speak freely, to get more in depth about love, how they feel about love, and so they are going to start, peeling back some of the layers, and some of their thoughts. So Stacia and Nate, they have their conversation in the pool. It was very sexy and everything. So Stacia asked Nate, where is she on the spectrum? Because Stacia is very task oriented. She likes numbers, so she wants to get a good a good gauge of where she is as far as Nate and getting to the L word, the love word. So Nate is saying he's at a 4 out of 10. So immediately Stacia, the overachiever, is like, oh hell no, that's like failing. So she is not excited to hear that she's only a 4 out of 10. So Nate asks, what do you think, what am I to you? And she was like, well, I was moving to being more in love. She was like, I'm more like the 8 range. And so, Nate feels bad because he gave her a 4 and she, rates him an 8. She feels like she's not getting anywhere with him, and she wants to know how can she get to the closest to the love word. And she's also wanting to know, like, why is she so low, and what does she need to do. So she's being very, Sasha's being very corporate. She's approaching it like, like you do with corporations, like, when you do your end of the year review or your mid-year review. She wants to know, like, okay, what can she do to get to that? And Nate is just like, just, it's going to take time. We're going to have to, grow and everything. So, but Stasha's not trying to hear that. She's trying to move fairly quickly because she feels like, if I'm there, you should be there. And that's not the case, Stacia. Just give him time. You've only known each other for 3 weeks. So what's the rush? If you're in it for the long run, it shouldn't really matter. Now, you should be moving. I agree, you should be moving forward, but it's only been 3 weeks. If you were dating someone 3 weeks, you wouldn't put the parameters on it that you're putting on this. So it's kind of like, as long as you're moving forward, I don't see where it should be an issue, but I can understand Stacia on a level where she is very task oriented and she is goal oriented, and she wants to get to that, to that sweet spot to where, I feel like she feels like the love word will make, I feel like she's feeling the love word make everything more secure for them as a couple. So Nate just is not trying to adhere to the timelines that she has in her head, because these timelines are in her head. And I feel like, just be present in the relationship and put forth your best effort every day. And I feel like you will get somewhere with Nate, but Nate is not feeling being, I feel like he sees it as a bit of control, that she's trying to control the situation. So Mitch and Kristen discuss being in love, and Mitch hasn't been in love, but Kristen, as we all know, Kristen falls in love with a gnat. She falls in love quickly. Like, so she, they see that, they are not similar in that aspect. Mitch says that he hasn't been in love, or he doesn't really think he has been in love, but he, has loved. Kristen, no, Mitch also says he has, kind of avoided the long-term commitment type thing. And most of the reason is because he noticed that, his parents, had a divorce. And so I guess that really, did a number on him, because, now that has kind of trickled into his personal relationships with women, and it caused him not to be, want to commit. And I guess, and I would love to know when his mom and dad got divorced, and, maybe some of the background in it to why he feels like he shouldn't or can't commit to the relationship. It would be interesting to find out why, because he, when my parents got divorced when I was fairly young, so I had time to kind of work through those emotions. So I wonder if it happened more when he was an adult and it threw him off. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like, maybe he's never worked through the issues, but I don't understand why he has, built up this fear of commitment. And maybe that's why he did Married at First Sight, to kind of push him into being in a committed relationship, because he wasn't getting there on his own. Now, Kristen does bring to the table that she did not appreciate how Mitch reacted to her dreams of being an entrepreneur and flipping houses. So I definitely give kudos to Kristen because she has been very direct. She's communicating with Mitch. She's being honest with how she feels and how she feels about how he maybe treats her. And in this instance, how he just reacted to her dreams. He kind of poo-pooed on her dreams, and she's bringing it to the forefront. And Mitch says he has an issue making money while other people are struggling. Mitch, you got to get over that, bruh. I mean, everybody. There's going to be a class in any situation. There's going to be people who have a lot of money, and there's going to be people who don't have any money. Unfortunately, we just are. That's the society we're in. And if your wife likes the finer things in life and you don't necessarily you have to find a middle ground, Mitch, because you're asking her to basically live like a pauper. And for some reason, I'm getting from Kristen, maybe she grew up with, in a nice, like upper middle class, a well off type environment. So to ask her to really come out of that mindset is going to be very difficult. And if she's not asking you to come out of your mindset and she's kind of meeting you where you are, you should want to meet her where she is as well and do some nice things. Maybe, just give in a little. Mitch digs his heels in and just takes it to the next level. And that's so annoying to me. I can't stand it. Like, I just like, that's annoying. I don't know how Kristen deals with it. I really, really don't. Alexis and Justin, they're smoking hookah while they're having their discussion about love and everything. So Alexis asks if Justin's ever been in love, and Justin says he doesn't know if it was true love because it was someone that he lost his virginity to and that he did everything for, and she just basically dolled him out. Justin, newsflash, I think you still like that. I think you're still like that, Justin, because I feel like you are still a people pleaser. You will do anything for someone at the detriment of yourself. And I feel like Justin feels he's a little bit further along than he really is. I feel like that comes with, low self-esteem. And he is just not, he puts his confidence in other people. Like, if I do this for you, you're going to give me what I'm looking for. And it's a form of manipulation. So, Justin, you're trying to manipulate you being the Mr. Nice Guy to make Alexis do what you want her to do. But Alexis is her own woman. And just because you do nice things for her doesn't mean that she has to react the way you want her to react. So I feel like Justin has a lot of growing up to do. I feel like in relationships, he's very immature. And he has to get to the bottom of this need to make people feel good about himself. He does speak to Alexis and tell him that, he feels like his origin of people pleasing comes from, his dad not being there. No matter how much he did to make his dad love him, it just wasn't enough. So maybe could be a little bit of the case. I wonder, what his relationship is with his mom, because I don't know if he's just had that, if his mom gave him the nurturing to give him the confidence that he is enough, that he is good enough. Or I know his brother kind of helped raise him, so did his brother reinforce that into him? Maybe that's why his brother wasn't so happy about Justin doing a married at first sight type scenario, because he knew that Justin has the proclivity to become a people pleaser, and to be dialed out by someone. I can see you can walk over someone with that type of mentality. They're easy to walk over. A certain type of woman could easily walk over someone like Justin. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. So Alexis asked if, if the state of their relationship right now, if they were not married, would they still be together? Justin says, yes, of course, Justin's going to say yes. Alexis says no. she said the whole situation with Newton just put a sour taste in her mouth, and she just doesn't see if they were just in a dating type scenario, if they would still be together. But she also says she's grateful that she is married, so it's making her stay and deal with the issues. So that's very mature on Alexis's behalf, but I really feel like Justin is getting on her last nerve at this point. And I feel like the whole situation with Newton, her child slash dog, it just really rubbed her in the wrong way. And she's noticing that Justin will say anything to make himself look good or to just appease the situation versus being honest. And I feel like one of her core values is honesty. And Justin is just not meeting the mark on that. So comment down below, what are some of your core values that you have in your relationship? I know I need honesty. Like, honesty is a big deal for me. I can't stand for people to lie in my face. Don't play in my face. Be direct with me. I mean, don't still have compassion, but be direct, be honest. I want to be able to trust what you're saying. I want to be able to, feel like there's not an underlying, like, you don't have a different, like, I want to be able to believe what you say and not feel like, okay, you're just feeding me some crap. Like, I don't like that feeling. I want, to be able to be loyal, like someone who's loyal to me. So what is some of your favorite, you would say is something that isn't as a non-negotiable for you? So let's go ahead. So Stacia and Nate talk about having measurable goals. Stacia wants to ensure that they are moving forward. And Nate says they are good. But for some reason, Stacia is not believing it. And Nate still, to me, Nate is still like I won't put him as a red flag, but I'm putting him still at the yellow flag. Before he was a red, he's kind of moving to yellow. I don't know. I don't feel the warm and fuzzy from Nate. For some reason, Nate is just, I don't know. I know some people say Nate give them F-boy type mentality or tendencies get F-boy tendencies from him. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. And I think that Stacia's reason for pause with Nate is something about Nate that just doesn't seem genuine. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just something about Nate that doesn't seem genuine and authentic. And maybe that's the reason why Stacia is having such a big issue with believing him, because he just doesn't come across believable all the time. So it's weird with Nate. Nate, I just don't get a good read on, and he's very stoic. And I know he has a military father and all that, and his mom, was not around. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't get trustworthy from Nate. So Stacia does question his commitment, and Nate shuts down and feels like they're going in circles, and that she is basically trying to manipulate him into feeling more. And he's getting annoyed. You can tell at this point he's getting annoyed with Stacia because she keeps like belaboring the point, and he's kind of like, I've told you how I feel, and you keep going round and round and playing devil's advocate is not making it any better, and it's not making me want to get closer to saying what you want me to say. He said, he was like, like, basically he's saying it is what it is at this point, Stacia. I don't feel like I'm still at a 4. And the way she's digging her heels in, I feel like is going to drop him down to a 3. So yeah, he's annoyed, and I feel like Stacia kind of needs to pull back a little bit and just, let it be, and just stop stoking the fires. She's poking the bear at this point. So Miguel meets with his friend who has concerns about Lindy. The friend that the guy and girl friend, I don't know if they're married or not, but for some reason I'm like, did Miguel talk to them before this process? Because they are very much so protective over Miguel, and they are very vocal on, on Miguel's in Miguel's love life. And I'm like, did Miguel make a pact with them to make sure they, point out some things and, make sure they let him know or something? Because they are very like into his love life. So his friend is telling Miguel, Miguel that Lindy kind of went off the rails at the housewarming, which he did, and starts going off about healthcare, which at that point they said put a damper on the whole housewarming and sent up a lot of red flags about Lindy. And he asks, is like, is Lindy still in the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type, types, phase? Like, does he really know who Lindy is at this point? And Miguel says the whole thing with the health insurance threw him off too. And he feels like he is, his eyes are open towards Lindy, but his friend doesn't seem to think so. His friend feels like his red flag meter is low, and he is not seeing Lindy for who she really is. That's what he was saying, but not saying. And I can understand what the friend is saying with Lindy. I feel like Lindy has a lot of ticky ticky boom boom. Like Lindy could go off at any minute, and she's very unpredictable. So I call that the ticky ticky boom. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen with Lindy, and it is worrisome because I feel like though Miguel can, have some controlling ways, Lindy is kind of like, seem like she's going off the rails a little bit, and it's a little bit worrisome. She's sweet, but it's like I'm wondering if she's a Gemini, because she definitely has two different sides to herself, and she constantly says, I want him to see my other side. And the way she just started cursing at him in the bed, and how she was so dramatic about not wanting to give up her identity and stuff like that. It was just like, okay, what the hell is this coming from? Like, she's very passionate about health insurance, and especially health insurance that she did not get on her own. Like, if you were that passionate about health insurance, why wouldn't you get health insurance on your own? Why would you wait into a married at first sight scenario and strong arm your husband into giving you health insurance who's only known you at that time for 2 weeks? So I don't understand that with Lindy. And like I said, she has a lot of ticky ticky boom boom about her, and it does not make me feel comfortable. And if I was Miguel's friend, I would probably be in the same boat. Miguel, it seems very calm about the situation. I don't know if the intimacy, between them is clouding his judgment, but he definitely needs to take heed of it because it's very unsettling. And I don't know. And I feel like Lindy, she's a good person, but she has to get more regulated. She needs regulation to get more even keeled. And I don't feel like she's at that space mentally. She's not even keeled. She's very up and down, and it's confusing for me. Kristen and Mitch go to karaoke. So Kristen and Mitch, they have fun at karaoke. They're letting their walls down. They're having a good time. They're eating a big platter of fried chicken. Like, it was a big platter for 2 people to eat fried chicken. And it wasn't wings. These were actual like chicken, like big pieces of chicken. And it was a big platter of it. So that was unusual for me to see. But nevertheless, they looked like they were having a good time. Mitch was doing his freestyle, which I guess I could I can that was a good freestyle for Mitch. I guess you would say. But Mitch, please don't don't quit your day job, because the flow was a little choppy, but again, it was good for Mitch. It was definitely good for Mitch. I will give him that. So they bring so Mitch brings up his reaction to the lending situation, the flipping houses situation. And he says it feels predatory, unethical, and immoral, all those things. It just goes against his core beliefs. The whole flipping houses type thing. So um, Kristen says she just wants to be compensated for what she's done, the fruits of her labor, and she wants just to be compensated. She's not trying to get rich off of the whole situation. She just wants to get what she put into it. That sounds all well and good, but if you're trying to make a profit, so that's the whole thing of flipping houses. You're trying to make a profit. So there is, and you're not going to just break even because that wouldn't make sense. Why would I put $80,000 in a house and then only get $80,000 back? It just doesn't make sense. So you're going to be making a profit, Kristen, and you should be. And I think Stacia does flipping of homes, and Stacia, I'm pretty sure makes a great living off of flipping houses and stuff. So, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that Mitch doesn't see the benefit in doing it, and basically he wants them. Sounds like he wants him and Kristen to live like paupers at this point. Like he wants them to live like a minimalist lifestyle, and to be very sustainable and environmentally conscious. But that's just not Kristen. That's not Kristen. And if he wanted that, he should have told the experts that that was a non-negotiable for him, because now you're linked up, or you're married to a woman who she's trying to meet you where you're at, but she likes nice things, and she shouldn't feel bad for that. So Mitch says that Kristen isn't being authentic, and Kristen is very offended by Mitch saying that. And I don't blame her, because I feel like I'm trying to, do what's right, in compromising our relationship. And the effort that I'm putting in, you're saying that I'm not being authentic. He argues that, no, I'm not saying you're not authentic. I'm just saying what you're saying is not. So you're saying the same thing, essentially, Mitch. You're calling her not authentic, and it's unfair. So Ben and Morgan share their experience about love, and Ben feels that he's never been really in love, but Morgan reflects on a relationship where she said was her last relationship, and this particular guy loved her so much that he said he would fight everybody for her, and that he just really, really, truly loved her. And while Morgan is talking about that, she has like this big smile on her face. And so immediately when I'm seeing that, I'm thinking like that's a red flag, because it seems like she's still in love with this past guy. Like she was like, it was the right person at the wrong time. So now where do you stand with this guy now? Because the way you're talking, like she had stars and hearts in her eyes as she was talking about this guy. And Ben is just sitting there, he was like, yeah, you're right. That sounds great. Like for me, I would be like, who the hell is this heifer? Like I would feel a little bad that my wife or my husband is talking like so lovingly about his last person. Like I would feel a little bad about that. Like, and so Ben just took it like a champ. He took it on the chin, and he was just like, he agreed with her. And then he talks about, he was in love, he had a great relationship with a girl who was in his computer science class, and life happened, and it caused them to kind of drift apart because he had some deaths. His dad got sick. It was just a lot going on for him, and he really couldn't be in a relationship, so it just fizzled out. So I get that. With Ben does seem a little emotionally immature. Like he doesn't seem like he has had a lot of relationships, or has gotten to that point with females, or so it's just weird. It's going to take Ben some time to get there emotionally. But with someone like a Morgan, Morgan is very judgmental. She's coming across very judgmental. And although she says, I definitely want to help you and, work, help you in a relationship, she just doesn't, she thinks her stuff don't stink. And I don't think that that's a good match. I really don't. Like, Ben is very immature, but he's the nice guy. He's the people pleaser, and Morgan is very like she's like very aggressive and like she's like a female version of Mitch. She digs her heels in or something, and she just will not let it go. So yeah. So Ben, talks about, how he is a people pleaser and he realizes that, in the Asian community, they want you to be doctors, and he did not do that. And he just always felt like he wasn't good enough. And I can understand that because you don't want to feel like you're letting people down, but you also want to feel like you are being authentic to yourself and you're following the dreams you want to. But being you're an engineer, and I was glad that Morgan really tried to encourage him at that time. Like, look at all that you've done. You've accomplished a lot. Being you're an engineer, you're not just like this run of the mill guy. Engineer like is a big deal. It doesn't mean you have to be a doctor to be fulfilled, but I can understand that when you've been ingrained in that in your community to feel like if you're not a doctor, you're not anything. And so, maybe his dad, played a role in that, and I don't know, but it's just heartbreaking to hear that, because I think Ben is very accomplished. He's virtually debt free, and he works and everything. So I don't see where he feels like he's not good enough, and that's heartbreaking. And I'm glad that Morgan was there to encourage him. Like I said, he again apologizes to Morgan about the honeymoon fiasco. Ben, this should be your last apology. Don't apologize for that no more, because you have apologized and apologized and if she don't accept your apology, that's on her. You've done what you have done what you have done supposed to do in that situation, and she should be apologizing too, Ben. She's the one who lied on her application and said she had a bachelor's degree and she did not. She did not. You lied to Morgan. You lied too. So you need to apologize for your role in the situation too. Because had you not lied, Ben would not have had a reason to go off about something and take it to the next level. So you are your lie is the catalyst of the whole situation. So I don't understand why she feels superior or she feels like her stuff don't stink, but it's annoying too. Ben, don't apologize to her no more. Let's see. Stacia and Nate take cooking lessons, and Stacia tells Nate that she noticed his demeanor when they were having their discussion yesterday, that he was kind of getting fed up. And so she brings it up again. Stacia can't leave it alone. And Nate says she was just being hard-headed, and her point of view was coming from a dark place. Nate says that in a previous relationship he had, it was very toxic. He said that she was a person who put a lot of ultimatums on him, and it just did not sit well with him. And then when they would have an argument, she would leave, and he would find himself running after her, and it just wasn't a good relationship for him. So again, we're getting a little bit of a glimpse of what some of Nate's reasoning why he's taking it slow. Being in a relationship like that, I can understand why you would want to take it slow. But and Stacia is really kind of beating him over the head and like, make a decision. I need to be, what can I do? What, like she's really, belaboring the point. And she's just not taking the cues that I don't want to talk about it no more. Let's just move forward. But she's continuing to drive her point home, and he is not feeling it. And he just encourages her to, believe in him and to have faith. Stacia says she got faith because there's a tattoo on her arm that says something about faith. So we'll see how this goes. I just feel like Stacia is just really beating a dead horse at this point. He's giving you the answer. You just don't like the answer. You continue to nag him about it is not going to change his answer. And you shouldn't want him to change his answer because you're being nagged. He's like the direct opposite of a Ben and a Justin. He's not going to say whatever you want to hear to please you. So that's commendable. So Kristen and Mitch, they go to the beach and they do some cleaning up before they have their picnic. Mitch is he is having himself a good time. He's gotten to pick up plastic and clean up the beach, and he's gotten to have a picnic with Kristen. Kristen talks about the karaoke situation again. Mitch realizes he may have offended her, but Kristen also lets him know that she does feel unappreciated, and she feels like that all the stuff that she does for Mitch and tries to compromise with him, it just goes unnoticed. But Mitch, does say that he's grateful. But are you, Mitch? Are you grateful? I don't think you are grateful. I think you feel like Kristen is supposed to acquiesce to you, and she shouldn't. She shouldn't have to feel like she needs to acquiesce to you and you don't do anything for her. And it's very pompous. It's very arrogant as well. And you care so much about other people and that other people are struggling, but you don't care about how your wife feels. It's just like you have all of this love and compassion for the environment, but you don't have any love and compassion for your own wife and her feelings. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense to me, Mitch. But she does say she wants that old Mitch. She saw the old Mitch rear his ugly head at karaoke, and she's trying to stifle that old Mitch and wants, the Mitch that she has grown to really enjoy these past couple weeks. She wants honeymoon Mitch to go on about his business. So Mitch don't like stuff like that. Mitch, that sounds controlling to Mitch. Mitch ain't gonna take kindly to that. So Lindy and Miguel, they go through their questions. Lindy says that seeing the worst part of someone is, and seeing the worst part of someone and them choosing to continue to love that person is, an indication of love. And that, you should show your husband or wife grace even when they mess up. Miguel's like, yeah, grace is all good, but once I continue to tell you that you are offending me or you're doing something that I don't like and you continue doing it, it's like, how much grace can I give? So Lindy, she was just like, she doesn't want to feel like Miguel is keeping, record of all her wrongs. And, again, she's probably thinking like, oh, is that going to build up to decision day? Because you know how she feels about decision day. So I just feel that Lindy, again, she's in her head about it, but you do have to become up to a point where it's like, if I keep telling you that I don't like to do something and you continue to do it, the same thing that I'm telling you I don't like, then yeah, that's a red flag. And that's something I have to make a decision. Am I going to stay in a situation like that? That's unhealthy for me. Lindy is the type of person, she was like, just continue to give them grace, unlimited grace. And that probably comes from her religious background as well. But it's also unhealthy because you need to also know where your boundaries are. You have to put up healthy boundaries. And if that person is a habitual line crosser, then you need to make your decisions on like, okay, you're going to continue to do this. I'm going to remove myself from the situation. And although I'm a big proponent of marriage and making marriage work, but if it's something where it's just really messing with how I feel to the core or one of my values, and it's infringing on that, then yeah, we may have to discuss get into a divorce. And I hate that, but you don't respect me and my feelings, well enough to stop doing what I'm asking you to do. Or say, for instance, someone's cheating on you. Should I continue to just give you grace if you continuously cheat on me? And I tell you that, look, I'm going to work through it with you that one, this time, and we're going to do our therapy, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to try to get to the point where we are. I give you grace. Then you go and cheat again. And then I give you grace again. And then it's like, okay, enough is enough. Like, why am I going to continue to give you grace when you're doing the same thing over and over? So I saw what Lindy and Miguel was saying. I feel like, yeah, grace should be extended, but it's to a point. So yeah. So Justin has a picnic for and Lindy, she does say, she's like, should I go out looking for someone who you're meeting 90% of my needs? And should I go out and find someone who meets the other 10%? Or should I just, stick with the person who meets those 90% and just, be okay with not getting the 10%? I get it, because it's like the 80-20 rule. Should you leave somebody who's only giving, for someone who's giving you that 10%, but they're not giving you the 90%? So I get it, what Lindy is saying. It's just, like I said, there's a limit. There's a limit. If that person is just really infringing on your boundaries, it's time to make some moves. So yeah, Justin has a picnic on the beach for Alexis. And Alexis asked how he feels, how did he see himself, showing up as a husband, when he started the process. And he just basically says to be supportive, a people pleaser. I'm going to please my wife and, do whatever she, I can to please her, and say whatever I can to please her. That's basically what he's saying. But he said to be supportive in his role. So let's see. So yeah, I just feel like Alexis and Justin are just in this weird space right now. And I feel like Alexis is kind of aggravated and annoyed with Justin, and she hasn't come back from that yet. I feel like she's trying to move forward, but she hasn't fully got to the point where she has forgiven Justin for it. And so they're kind of stuck. They're stuck in the Newton situation. And I don't know what she's going to do when Maya comes back. I mean, because Maya's only in the asylum for 2 weeks. So I don't know what's going to happen, if that's going to cause a bigger rift in their relationship, because I don't see where they have gotten any closer. It actually looks like they're drifting apart. And Alexis, I'm like, girl, you was all in love with Justin in the honeymoon, but now you're kind of like giving him the side eye at this point. So I'm like, I think it was just infatuation. I don't think you really truly loved him. It was the euphoria of being on your honeymoon and having a good time. You're in paradise. And I feel like it was more infatuation than love. So yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, girl. Because Newton may be on his last leg. And if Justin is, for the most part good, and, this is still worth pursuing. Don't let the whole situation with Newton cause a damper on the situation, because it looks like Newton has gone on by his business and you're still stuck. So, yeah. Ben cooks for Morgan, and he decides to do Korean barbecue inside the house, which causes the smoke alarms to go off, because basically you're grilling inside of the house. I thought it was very cute. I've always wanted to do Korean barbecue. I didn't get a chance to do. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but it's still on my bucket list to try Korean barbecue. I thought it was cute that he tried to do the whole setup for Morgan. So it was an A for effort, Ben. It was definitely an A for effort. Ben wants to go deep with Morgan. And I feel like he feels like a weight into Morgan's heart is to, bear himself emotionally and to kind of take ownership of some of the stuff. Like, okay, I feel like because he's feeling like he has to go deep and acknowledge, like, yeah, I'm a people pleaser, to make her feel good about, like he's putting himself down to make Morgan feel good. So is now he's saying like, yeah, I realize I have daddy issues, and I was projecting that on you, and I'm sorry again. Um, I'm glad that Ben is deciding to go deep, but it should also be reciprocated because I don't see where Morgan is going deep with you, or going deep to the point where she is acknowledging some places where she could be lacking, where she could do better. She doesn't seem to be at that point, and or she will get to that point because she just, I don't know. I don't even think she likes Ben at this point. I really feel like the whole situation in the honeymoon is there. She's at a no for decision day, and I don't think Ben can do anything to get out of that no category. And she's looking for anything and everything to get through that no category. She talks about how, in order to stand up for herself, she cut her dad off because she always felt like she was trying to please him. So she cut her dad off. So again, if she'll cut her daddy off, she'll cut you off in. You don't mean nothing to her. So um, the ladies all buy their husbands, the wives buy their husbands the same striped shirt as a prank. So it's really cute. So as Mitch is putting on his shirt, he goes to put on his shirt. He says he don't want to wear it. Kristen is like, why? Is I want you to wear it. He's not giving in to her. So she eventually has to tell him about the prank, and he reluctantly wears the striped shirt, but with a caveat, if I'm gonna wear this shirt, I'm taking it off as soon as the prank. So as soon as the prank is revealed, I'm taking the shirt off. So the couples get together and the men all see that they're wearing the same shirt. They, have a nice little laugh, and Mitch goes to take his shirt off. Which is like, Mitch, you just can't give a little at all. Like, you have to dig your heels in on every little thing. And it doesn't make sense. Like, it takes the fun out of a situation. And Kristen seems like she's that bubbly type and she likes to have fun. But Mitch, if it ain't on Mitch's term, it is not right. And it's so annoying. Like, that would send me through the roof. Like, I'll probably have gone off on Mitch, but at this point, it just would not be a happy house because he's a stickler for everything, and he seems like if it's not his way, it's the highway. So the couples get together. Like I said, the men wear their shirts. Mitch changes in the group. He said he feels like he doesn't like to be told what to wear. He doesn't like to be. It just feels, the whole shirt thing felt materialistic, and it was just like, like it was just, oh God, Mitch, give it a rest. It was horrible. It was like, you made the prank just not be as funny as it could have been. So Dr. Pia arrives. She's a clinical psychologist and sex therapist. And she wants to talk to the couples about being vulnerable with each other. So Justin tries to explain his emotions, and I'm surprised he didn't start crying. But Justin tries to explain his emotions, and he's going round and round and round, like Tevin Campbell, round and round. Like he is going round and round. Nobody is understanding what the heck he's talking about. And I guess he realizes that no one is understanding. He was like, yeah, you just don't understand. Maybe I'm contradicting myself. And so Alexis is giving him like all these eyes and like, ugh, like she's over it with him. And so Alexis, so the Dr. Pierre asked, does Alexis buy what he's saying? And she was like, no, I don't. And so he immediately shuts her down and said, well, she don't know me that well. Like, sir, I mean, she's been with you for the past 3 weeks, 20 days or so, more than 20 days. And she probably has a good grasp on, what you're doing so far. So he didn't want to hear what Alexis had to say. because he was just like, I don't want to hear what she got to say. He just wanted to shut her down. So Alexis tries to explain to Justin she is trying to understand him, and she needs him to help her, help him to help them. Cute little theme, what she said. All the couples was like, yes, yes, yes. So I feel like Alexis is trying to understand them, but at the same time, I feel like she's got a wall up. So even though she is saying that she wants to understand them, I just feel like I don't know. I don't know if that's going to get them anywhere. Like she's still stuck at the whole Newton thing. Kristen brings up the shirt situation, and Dr. Pia asks about compromising. Mitch says he would feel more like a pushover. Mitch has a lot of pride. Like his pride happens before the fall, Mitch. It really does. Like you can't even, he's going to be alone for a long time if he can't see where he can't show some flexibility and he can't show some compromise, because at this point it's annoying. And Kristen says she feels like she's losing herself in a relationship, and I tend to agree. Kristen, if you like nice things, have nice things. You shouldn't feel bad about it. Morgan says that she would like more compliments from Ben, because I guess Ben said, well, I said you look icy, you was dripping. And so she was like, yeah, but that's not the same as saying you look beautiful today. And I agree with Morgan. Yeah, like she was like, don't treat me like I'm one of your bros. Like I want to be treated like your woman. And that goes along with Ben's immaturity. Like I said, Ben is very immature. You could tell he hasn't had a lot of relationships. And the last relationship that he had, it was something going on in college. Ben is probably late 20s, early 30s. So yeah, college was a long time ago. And Ben hasn't had a serious relationship since then. And so, yeah, he's a little lacking in that area. So he just needs to get more in touch with this, that debonair type man, like in the romance department. And maybe he would be, and maybe they were a little bit more intimate. But she does come across like, also like for Ben to want to give you, see you in that light. Like Morgan, she comes across very aggressive. Like she's very like a tomboy. So I guess she gives homeboy type vibes, and that's maybe why he treats her like a homeboy. That's what I'm trying to say. Lindy says she wants Miguel to see her crazy side. Again, Lindy and her crazy side. Like I told you, ticky ticky boom boom. Miguel says he got a taste of it and he shut it down immediately. He didn't like it. Lindy says she's holding back because she respects him. And I don't know if she can, the way she acted in that bed, if she can get worse than that, like Lindy, come on now, grab a hold of yourself. Like it shouldn't get to that point. Like where you can't control your emotions. Like that's what it sounds like. I mean, she can, because she says she hasn't gone there, but I really feel like what she showed in the bedroom was a little hard. It didn't feel too good for me. And I know it didn't feel good for Miguel. So she wants the space to be authentic, and no, Miguel will still choose her. But that's the risk you run. Like maybe he don't want crazy, Lindy. Maybe he don't want crazy. Maybe he don't want to, that girl who is going to just blow up on him at any second. And then once you blow up, you just expect me to stay here. Like you can't expect that all the time. Like you can't expect people just to take your crap and just be there for you. You can't expect that, Lindy, because he's not a punching bag. Stacia says Nate isn't being vulnerable. And Nate is annoyed again. Like he looks off because he was like, we back at this again. So Nate says he has taken the steps to show Stacia, and he is getting frustrated at this point. And Nate says if she continues this going on this path, he's going to start to give up because she's poking, and she is just kind of, she won't let the whole situation go. So as they go back home, Nate and Stacia have a heart to heart again, and Nate tells her that she's basically hurting his feelings because she said, like, he threw her words up against her. Nate, he did the thing. He threw her words back up on her. She said, "You said that you appreciate action, that you don't go by words, and so I have done the actions of going, starting to look into therapy and to do all these other things, and and it's still not good enough. So at this point." If she doesn't keep believing in him, he's not going to. He is like, I'm not going to stay in a situation where you just don't continue to believe in me. And Stacia was like, I feel attacked. But Stacia, like, why do you feel attacked when you've been poking the bear this whole time? Like, this whole time you have been talking to him about it. And I get when you want to talk about a situation and you want to get your point across, but there's a fine line between getting your point across to just like poking the situation. And I feel like she kind of she tiptoed over onto poking versus, trying to get understanding, because he was clear, that he wants to take time, he wants to grow together, he wants to, build a friendship and all that stuff. And she is just like, well, that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. Why? So it got to the point where he's like, look, if that's going to be the case, then, we can just, it's not going to look good at the end for decision day. And so Stacia felt attacked. Like, okay, you get what you give, Stacia. So we'll see where that goes. Morgan, now it flashes to showing Morgan and Ben having an argument. And basically, Morgan is saying that Alexis told her everything. And so she seems like she's left the apartment for the night. So Ben he seems like he's confused. So stay tuned to see what happens between Morgan and Ben. It does not look good for them from the previews. She throwing flowers down. Ben looks confused. So that's the recap for episode 9. How would you rate this Married at First Sight? I would say I would give it I would give it a 7. It wasn't too much. It was it kind of drug on, but it was a lot of information to kind of get see some of their hangups with Mitch not being compromising. Ben seems like he's just doing whatever he can to get in Morgan's good graces. Justin is trying to, reel Alexis back in, and she's kind of like, I don't feel like she's still upset about the whole Newton situation. Nate and Stacia, Stacia, if Stacia does, she's kind of getting into her nitpicking ways and is not sitting well with Nate. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. To me, I can already say it looks like Morgan and Ben are a no on decision day. Justin and Alexis, it don't look good for y'all either. And Kristen, I think Kristen, she will push through just to push through with Mitch, but I don't see why you would. So that's my assessment. Let me know how you felt about this episode. What do you think about the different couples? Let me know. And once again, you're here. Subscribe, join my tribe, hit the like button, share, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of all of my uploads. And until then, it's been real, beautiful people. And I'll see you for Ready to Love. Peace.